crazy lucid dream story, posted by Mateo Jet to the Lucid Dreaming subreddit 6 years ago. Growing up, not often, but very occasionally, I would have nightmares. In all of them, I would either be alone, or the only people would be far away on the horizon. The dreams often had a very quiet and sinister nature, and a feeling of being stuck. Examples would be being inside of a dark house that started to catch on fire, or being slowly pulled into the ocean as a giant wave approached. I've always found dreams fascinating, and in my early 20s I researched lucid dreams and became good at achieving them. After becoming familiar with my lucid dreams, I could control them well and remove any negatives that I didn't like. One night, I decided not to escape the darkness, but rather move into it. I dreamt I was in my childhood town. In this dream, the town was deserted and run down. Boarded up windows, trash and autumn leaves blowing across the streets. I was looking for something, and I wanted to leave, but I couldn't find whatever it was I was looking for. I saw my childhood home, and at this point, a dream-initiated lucid dream occurred. So for those not in the know, a DILD is a common technique used to trigger a lucid dream, and is known to be quite successful. It occurs when a person is already dreaming, and uses one of 3 techniques to initiate a lucid dream, one of the 3 techniques being object recognition. This technique is when someone finds an object in the dream that subconsciously tells them that they are dreaming, thus initiating a lucid dream. A common object people use are their hands. Finding your hands in a dream and focusing on them, then being able to move them at will, triggers a lucid dream. The second technique is called TCR, which stands for text change recognition. Text in a dream, whether on a billboard, sign, book, phone, etc., usually changes every time you look at it. Recognizing this effect would tell you subconsciously that you are dreaming. For example, you may wear a watch in reality, and while in a dream you quickly glance at your watch to see what time it is just like you do routinely throughout a normal day. But if you look at it again, the time will not be the same. The third technique is simple. It does not have a term but can be described as finding things in the dream that are abstract and would not occur in real life. Let's say you have a dream about a unicorn. Subconsciously, this would tell you you are dreaming, because unicorns are not real. I just had this feeling that it wasn't right, and decided that this was a dream. I didn't need a reality check, or get excited, because I was familiar with LDs by now, and simply breathed a sigh of relief. I prepared to leave the scene, but I looked back on my childhood home. It was dark. Something was not right, and I could feel the eerie, sinister silence I'd felt in nightmares long past. I decided that it may be a good idea to purposely pursue this fear. It might be a new area of my mind to explore and gain greater control over. I ventured inside and it was dark. Somehow no light was able to enter from outside. It was as if the light was sucked out of the air itself. The eerie silence intensified. Somehow it was deafening. Certain corners of the house were so dark that they were completely obscured in black shadows. I moved closer to one of those corners, and I could start to see something. Something was different. I felt afraid. The same feeling that would make my eyes water, throat tighten and hair stand on end washed over me. However, I was also excited, exhilarated even. I knew full well this was a dream, and had no doubt it was a fantasy. As I approached this corner, the form of what was there finally came into view. It was a hole bored straight down through the floorboards, perhaps 1 metre wide. I could see nothing in it. Not the basement, not some pathway, just an abyss of blackness. Standing on the edge, I felt a sense of something, almost as if a low hum was travelling through my body. Not quite a voice or growl, but more like a vibration. I don't know why, but it felt directed at me, and it felt like anger. I thought, removing all fear from myself. The subconscious is a wild thing. I'd let it do its worst. I would let this dream take control as much as it wanted to, and I would not be intimidated. Eyes open, I leaned forward and tumbled in. Blackness. Moments later, I found myself standing on a grimy floor of tiled stone or concrete. The walls were the same way, and the darkness pervaded this place as well. It was a small room, and with no doors or windows. It was more like a small stone cube. It was immediately evident that I was not alone. Crouching, facing away from me in tattered cloth, was a lanky, shriveled girl. The thing turned towards me and stood hunched over. It had shriveled skin, long greasy black hair, as well as a gaping unnatural mouth and sharp claw-like fingers that were about 4 times longer than they should be. It approached. I felt disgusted, if not afraid. I did not like being here. But still, I was adamant. I wanted this dream to do its worst, and I wanted to prove that I couldn't be controlled or unnerved in my own mind. The thing tore into me. It clawed at my abdomen until entrails hung loose, and it began to feed on me. I felt no pain. I just watched. From the moment it even touched me, I knew that I was the one truly in control, merely allowing it to continue. I reached my hand out and in one motion clawed at its face so severely that the disgusting face of it slopped off into my hand. I ate it like it was birthday cake, then pushed the staggering monster away. In a way, I felt like I was telling my subconscious, yeah, big whoop, I can be spooky too, you know, don't even bother. And then, the dream faded to black. From the darkness, I woke up. Smirking, I knew I had mastered another part of my own mind. I ventured into the darkest corner I could find, and successfully trivialized the whole experience. Since then, I have never had another nightmare of that kind at all. I'll still occasionally have bad dreams when non-lucid, but these are generally revolving around more realistic scenarios, like having a car breakdown or getting in arguments. I think conquering your fears in lucid dreams, whatever those fears may be, can be really powerful. For the bold of you, I challenge other lucid dreamers to let the bad dreams take hold, and then trivialise them. Jump into the monster's mouth, and put silly stickers on its teeth. You are the one in control. So there we have it, finally covering a lucid dream story. I did a compilation of a few a while ago called Crazy Lucid Dreaming Experiences. Never did a part 2 of course because I'm fucking useless, aren't I? But here we are, we're back on the lucid dreaming scene. A lot of people have been asking for sort of dream reports, so definitely going to do more if people find this entertaining. Obviously most of these will just be sort of just entertaining stories. They're just really fascinating to listen to, but this one I really enjoyed because it had an element of sort of personal development and facing your fears, conquering the shadow in a sense. And like this guy says, it can be extremely beneficial for you to actually face yourself in your dreams where you know that it's a fantasy, there's nothing you can hurt you, so you can just sort of take on the darkest, most twisted experience possible, all the demons and darkness that lingers in your mind. You can face it in your dream without knowing that you're going to be in any harm or any real physical harm. I mean, you might be in for some like mental harm while you're in the lucid dream, just in the moment, but obviously the best part about it is if you wake up, you're just like, oh right, well that was just a dream, it was complete illusion. But just because it's an illusion doesn't mean it can't have a profound impact on your sober waking life. This guy says, he puts it really well, he feels like he's conquered another part of his mind. And isn't that what life's all about, sort of conquering the mind, harnessing your inner pure consciousness and chipping away at sort of the ego, the shadow, and becoming a purer, more loving, more conscious being. For those who don't know, I probably should have said it at the beginning of the video, but a lucid dream is a dream in which the dreamer is aware that he is dreaming, so the dream usually becomes more vivid and memorable than usual. And through controlling the dreamer can do anything possible, and most things impossible. There are numerous methods to actually achieve lucid dreams, and I won't go over them in this video, I'll do them in another one, if this one does well. People want to hear more about this sort of stuff, because I think it does tie in with psychedelics. Obviously psychedelics can put you into a dreamlike state, your imagination is amplified. Some psychedelics, say like salvia or deliriants, can literally plunge you into a nightmare or some extreme dream-like reality where there is no sort of semblance of the normal sober waking material world. So there's definitely a lot of parallels between them, and again, like we've covered in this story today, you can also face up to yourself effectively in these lucid dreams, just like how you can on psychedelics. You can just really get to the root cause of, say, what's ailing you in your life, what's holding you back from higher levels of consciousness, love, understanding, etc. And if any of the lucid dreamers are out there, please tell me in the comments what your experiences are like, and send some my way as well. I'd love to feature some subscriber submitted ones, or just not even lucid dreams. Like, you can do, if you're just good at remembering your dreams, give us a dream report if you can recall it, because obviously some people are more inclined to remember deeper parts of the dream, whereas others just sort of have scattered remnants of a narrative when they wake up the day after. I'll probably do one of my own at some point, because I can recall my dreams pretty well. They're often extremely in depth, and they always have some like weird synchronicity level aspect to them, where there'll be people I'll dream about in a dream, and then the day after I'll see them. Like, I literally did that the other night. I dreamt about my mate I've not seen in like almost a year, in my local pub, listening to some punk band which would not be playing at a local pub in north of England, I tell you now. Especially not where I'm from. They fucking think punk or anything that's not Oasis is like the devil's music. Although that's only just where I live, in the actual city near where I live. There is definitely a bigger music scene, but just in this local village pub, it just would never do that. So that was already weird. And then my mate, who's not into heavy music at all, was like at the front of the mosh pit with his top off, going fucking like ape shit, doing like some fucking Running Man hardcore style dance moves. And then literally the day after, went to go watch fucking Mario movie with two mates in the pub. Who walks in? That literal guy from my dream. Weird, mate. It's all fucking interconnected, innit? I swear down, mate. Telling thee now, my lad. Honestly, just blags my head when stuff like that happens. It's happened so many times as well. Literally the epitome of a synchronicity, that. A coincidence that seems to have a deeper meaning. It makes you start thinking about collective consciousness, stuff like that. Because, I mean, people they don't shun dreams, but I don't think people realise the gravity and profundity of dreams, really, until something like that ends up happening. That really starts to make you think a bit. It makes you start to think outside the box, and maybe think, oh, maybe it isn't all just this material, physical reality of logic and atoms and rationale. It feels like consciousness and reality is a lot more loopy, paradoxical, and stranger than we can ever really actually understand. So yeah, hope you guys enjoyed this one. Talk about more of these in the future, maybe like sleep paralysis stories as well, because sleep paralysis can also tie in with lucid dreaming. Obviously, sleep paralysis stories aren't going to be as in-depth, but they're definitely entertaining to listen to. I've experienced sleep paralysis fucking loads of times. Literally like 2 days ago. It often happens to me when I'm just getting out of routine with my sleep schedule. If I say I go out on a really late night out and I don't get to sleep for ages, and it feels like my body's completely like exhausted but my mind's still awake. That's usually what happens to me, and I just wake up like, oh, and I'll hear someone like some weird banshee type creature whispering in my ear. Or mate, I had one of the other day, and I literally woke up and I just like opened my eyes. I couldn't really see anything, but I felt the presence of Christopher Moltisanti from Sopranos in the room, and I could hear him talking like, "Hey T, what's going on here?" It was really strange. Funny though in a way. And then after that, I remember being plunged into this vivid dream world. Not quite a lucid dream, because I wasn't in control of it per se, but I just remember it so vividly. And I was with Jimmy McGill, or Saul off Better Call Saul, or Breaking Bad, because I've just been watching Better Call Saul recently and getting into it, because I tried watching last year and couldn't get into it, but now it's just sort of clicked, and I'm obsessed with it, really enjoying the time watching it. And obviously I find that when I'm into things during the day, it's something that's been like the focal point of my day, always ends up spilling into my dreams later on. So especially if I'm getting stuck into like some piece of media, or reading certain parts of history, they sort of merge in my dream. And it was interesting because I was reading sort of about like Scottish history, and then in the dream it was me and Saul ran this law firm in medieval Scotland, and everyone was talking in sort of like Gaelic and that. It was really strange, and I was there with him talking in pure Gaelic and everything. I remember it just like it was pure gobbledygook to me. Obviously, when I woke up, like I had no idea what I was actually saying, but it was based upon all the stuff I'd been researching during the day about the Gaelic language and Scottish history, and especially in the medieval times. And obviously, that would merge with like the other focal point of my day, which is watching Better Call Saul. It sort of has an imprint in your subconscious, and then it's just sort of merges together in the dream world. Very strange stuff. Definitely want to talk about it more in the future, and if you guys want to hear more, then let me know. But until then, take care.